Should Starbucks be selling coffee to 3-year-olds? I think not. Today I was in Starbucks with my 12-year-old and he was ordering a caramel frap and I said without coffee. And she said, we do decaf. And I said, well, decaf still contains caffeine. I don't think that any children need caffeine. And she said, you know what? I totally agree. And then we got chatting and she said, do you know what? The other day there was a dad in here and he was buying something for himself. And then I realised that 2 of the drinks that he also bought were for his young children. One was about 3 and one was about 5. And they both had lattes. And we then got chatting about, whether that was kind of ethical. Her personal values were that she would prefer not to have to sell caffeinated products for consumption by children. And I said, do you know what the Starbucks ethical, opinion and kind of stance is on this? If you refuse to sell it, would Starbucks back you? And she said, I don't know. And I said, well, could you ask? And she said, I absolutely will, because actually it really kind of goes against my values to be selling coffee for children. I know this might be a divisive opinion. I know it won't be popular with everybody, but I would love to know your thoughts. I'd love it if Starbucks could consider commenting as well. I love that actually, potentially we are able to think about legislation being rolled out to protect children, to protect any adults actually as well, from caffeine, because caffeine is the biggest unregulated drug in the world. And you might be like, oh, it's fine, they'll get around to it eventually. But I passionately believe as a psychologist, we ought to be really considering the impact of drugs such as caffeine on our brains and on the developing brains of children. So what do you think? Should Starbucks, should Costa, any other coffee firms, should they be able to withhold caffeine from children, specifically children as young as around 3? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.